Drop kick me, Jesus, through the goalposts of life. End over end, neither left nor to right.
11:21, 21 minutes after the hour here on December 20th, 2009 edition Doug Pedger Radio on AM 950. Broadcasting here in the Twin Cities and online, DougPedgerRadio.com. You can join us in the chat room over there if you listen to Twin Cities. Hope you're handling the snow okay. My Twin Cityans, fellows Twin Cityans. It's the heart of winter. In fact, we're in, we're in the final 3 days of it being as dark and as short of sunlight days as we can get. We're about to turn the corner on this thing, folks. We're about to turn the corner.
Woohoo!
It's the 20th, 21st, 22nd. It's going to get brighter, so just keep saying to each other. In fact, we have to do our Right On segment right now because we're going to be joined in the last half an hour by author John Shelby Spong. John Shelby Spong is a theologian, a thinker, a practitioner, and has written a book called Eternal Life. A new vision beyond religion, beyond theism, beyond heaven and hell. He is causing all kinds of stress for some people with this book, because now he's talking about eternal life in ways that get beyond religion and theism and heaven and hell. So we're going to have a great conversation with him about that and about a whole number of other things that he's about. So I need to do the Right On segment now. I'm just going to do a simple bit of it. It's not going to be a full Right On segment. Here's the Right On. The Right On segment is, it's going to get brighter. At its darkest days, the 20th, the 21st, into the 22nd, the darkest days. And then it starts getting brighter again. It's just darkest right before the dawn. Ha! Right on, people. So when you find yourself in the middle of the darkness, I don't know, it might be that you got a long way to go, but it might be that you're right around the corner.
Okay, I like that
a whole
Right
lot
On,
brighter.
but I just feel like I got gypped on the Right On.
Really? It's usually better than that?
It's usually way better than that. I think you copped out on this one.
I didn't cop out. I got a couple things I want to cover. Oral Roberts. Do you know that guy, Grover? Does that name ring a bell to you?
I do know I did get burned by Oral Roberts on my March bracket last year.
Grover got burned by Oral Roberts because Oral Roberts is not only a university. Oral Roberts was a guy.
I know,
Oral
and he actually
Roberts
said, if you don't send me millions, I will die.
Okay, so Oral Roberts is known for a couple of things. First of all, his real name is Granville Oral Roberts. He's one of those guys that goes by his middle name. I love that kind of guy. Okay, so he's known for a couple of things. He's known for having this university that plays Division I level basketball, which freaks a lot of people out. He's also very well known for this little stunt that he pulled where he said, I want to build a system by which, in the late 80s, I want to build a system by which we can send doctors all around the world. Because Oral Roberts University not only has this university there, a full university, like started in like 1960s or something, this full university, but this whole medical center. So here's a guy who is a television evangelist. He runs this worldwide Christian ministry thing. And Oral Roberts is known very well for being up in his tower and saying, if I don't get $7 million, the Lord's taking me home. The Lord's taking me home if I don't get it. He got $8 million, and they got their project underway. So the Lord didn't take him home then. But he did die.
Slide, Oral.
But he did die. See, this is what people do. They did die this week, December 15th. He died 2009, 91 years old. Okay, now here's what I think is interesting about Oral Roberts. It's not a whole lot in the public conversation about Christianity that Oral Roberts and I would say in the same way. Okay? So there's not a whole lot of convergence between the words I would use, the impressions I would give, the way I would describe, and what he would do. But maybe most things in life and in the world we would agree, but not on these particular things that both of us sort of do professionally. Now, he was in radio and then went on to television and did a whole number of things and started an entire network and system and culture of the kind of life that he wanted. What I find most interesting about the guy is that I think that he plays the role of a religious leader and spokesman for a particular explanation of the human experience with God. Here's what I think's powerful about the guy. Not his conclusions, per se, but his role, his function. See, I think, like a lot of people have concluded, and I think this is a pretty good illustration, that you could suggest that there's two schools of thought around the human being's experience with religion, with God, with faith, whether that's bound up inside of a particular dogma and teaching inside of a tradition, or if it's created in a person's own particular way, if it's new or if it's ancient. It doesn't seem to matter. There's sort of these two worlds. And the two worlds of the human experience in religion is that the human brain is, on the one hand, referred to as like a CD player. On the other hand, that the human brain is like a transmitter, a radio transmitter. Like those of you that are listening to this in your car and home on your radio, even listening to it on iTunes, that kind of transmitter takes in information that's coming from somewhere else, and you receive it, and then the transmitter broadcasts it. So it grabs a particular frequency, takes my voice, and then transmits. A CD player, on the other hand, takes a CD. You insert the CD player you insert the CD into the CD player. It's such old technology I can hardly even describe it. You insert the CD into the CD player, and now all the music or the recording is inside the CD player. It's not grabbing it from anywhere else. So one of the ways that people describe the human experience with God is to say, it's really all in your head. It's all in there, and it's a neurological experience that happens in your brain like a CD player. It's just in there, and you're born with it, and then you interpret that as if it's coming from outside of you, as if it's actually a God-like feature outside of you. But it's all the data is happening from the conditions of your brain. It's internal to you. The other argument is, no, it's happening in your brain, yes, but your brain is like a transmitter that receives from God, and then you experience it. And so some people's brains are tuned in this metaphor, to particular frequencies that can tune into what God's about. The thing that makes Oral Roberts so interesting is he was a public, very public, television and broader. I mean, guys like you, Grover, who don't hang around Oral Roberts, know about him. He was the spokesperson for the view of, my brain is like a transmitter. God told me something, I heard it, transmitted it, now I'm saying it. And that view, whether you agree with Oral Roberts or not, the people who like the idea and the notion that our human experience with God is like a transmitter of our brain and not a CD player. Because in the last 100 years, there's been an awful lot of people who've been arguing it's all about the CD player sort of vision. It's in there. We can explain it. It's all there. So when you have an experience with God, we can find it in your brain. We can tell you where it comes from. And others say, well, my brain's involved, but it's as a transmitter, not as a CD player. And so I think the power of someone like Oral Roberts is not the particulars. There's some things that he did and said that really caused some real trouble in this world, and it will be better if we don't have those in the future. You can't do a lot about that. But his role as being a spokesperson for the transmitter expression of people's life with God is what allowed him to be someone who you could disagree with, but people said there's something valid about what he's getting at and about what he's doing. So on that day, we're going to be joined here after the break by Bishop and author John Shelby Spong. Maybe we'll talk to him about some of that, see if he has an opinion about that himself. So if all goes right, John Shelby Spong here on Doug Padgett Radio after the break. Talk to you in a minute.